Hi everyone, my name is Roy McGloin from RPM Communication Consulting. Since we're going to be using the Zoom platform for our workshop, I wanted to take a few moments and share some tips and ideas on how you can get your Zoom set up to make sure you're able to access the workshop with no problems. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So you're likely to have received an email that looks something like this, either from myself or from your internal partner. So if you look at the details of the Zoom invitation here, you can see that you're provided a direct link that you can click on, and by clicking on that, it will open up the Zoom meeting. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about making sure that we have the right Zoom program downloaded, we have our account set up so that when we come back to this invitation, we know that when we click on it, we're going to get exactly what we want. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have Zoom Desktop downloaded. Now, if you Google Zoom Download Center, you will find this link, and from there, you'll be able to download a variety of different Zoom platforms or programs. The one that we're looking for is the Zoom Client for Meetings. It's important to note that Zoom has a new version out, 5.0.4. So if you already have Zoom downloaded on your desktop, but you haven't updated it in quite a while, you're still going to want to go ahead and download this update to make sure that it's interacting with various plugins and other programs that you might be using. So I'm using a Mac today, so I'll be showing my examples from a Mac standpoint. If you're a Windows user, for the most part, many of the preferences and settings are relatively similar. You're going to want to click on the download feature, and then from there the program will download to your computer and you'll be able to open it. You're going to go ahead and open that program, and from there follow the steps for the Zoom installation. I already have Zoom installed on my computer, so I'm not going to click through the remainder of this portion, but you'll go ahead and install the program and add it to your software and be able to access and open the desktop application. It's important to note that you can run Zoom directly off a browser. So in that email, if you were to click on that link and your computer did not recognize that the application was installed on your computer, it would take you to the web browser version of Zoom. For many of your clients and constituents that you work with, that might be exactly how they access Zoom. But for you, as meeting hosts going forward, you're going to want to have that desktop application installed on your computer. The next thing we're going to want to do then is create our Zoom accounts and be able to log in. And you're actually going to want to do this from the website as opposed to using the desktop application. During the workshop, we're going to differentiate the difference between settings that we work on the website and settings that we work on the application. For getting our account set up, I strongly recommend that you utilize the website to do this. So you're going to go to zoom.us, and from there you're either going to click sign in or sign up. Now you'll notice that if you click sign in, down here you have some options where you can use your existing Google or Facebook accounts to create a Zoom account that you can then use to host meetings. Now it's at this point that you'll want to make a decision about maybe what account you'd like to use for your Zoom profile and whether you want to have a personal and or professional account. You can create a separate Zoom account, and then you could use a different email address if your email address wasn't from Google or you didn't want to use your Facebook profile. Whatever you choose to log into Zoom, that will then allow you to host meetings. Now, you will be given access to a variety of Workforce Alliance host accounts, and those accounts are going to have their own email setup, and they will come with a set of default preferences that we'll talk through during the workshop. For the sake of our workshop and your ability to access Zoom, go ahead and select one of the three primary ways that you can create a Zoom account if you haven't done so already. So that is to create your own account or to use a Google or Facebook profile to sign in. For the sake of our examples today, I'm going to sign in using my Google account, and you can see on this page that all of my existing Google accounts become an option for me to sign into. So I'm going to use my RPM Consulting Gmail address that I use. This brings us to the primary preferences page for the Zoom platform. And from here, we're going to learn how to schedule a meeting, and we're also going to learn how to go through each of these settings and toggle to think about what will be appropriate for our meetings. The most important part of this video is that you have created a login, and you can use that login to access your account. From there, you're going to want to open the desktop application. Now, depending on where you store your applications on your computer, it might be on the desktop itself, or in some cases, it may be in a folder. So for me, I've moved Zoom down into my dock down here, And when I scroll down, I can open Zoom like this. So when I open my Zoom desktop application, this is what pops up. And for you, it'll look something similar. The only difference might be if this is the first time you're using Zoom, you're gonna need to sign in. So up here in the upper right hand corner where you can see my avatar photo, you can click on this, and here you'll have the options to be able to sign in, sign out, or even switch your accounts. So if I were to sign out of this account right now, you can see that it would bring me to a new page. And from here, again, I can use my existing Google or Facebook accounts or that new Zoom account that you've used for the email address here. Once again, I'll click sign in with Zoom. It brings me back to the web page that we had already seen, which is why it's so important to set this up on the web version first, and it brings you back to the application. I use separate avatars for each of my accounts so that at quick first glance I can look up and I know which photo is associated with which account. Sometimes I'm doing professional Zoom calls and sometimes I'm doing personal Zoom calls, and I like to keep those accounts separate. So when I open my Zoom, I can quickly and easily, if I needed to, go ahead and switch my account to one of the other accounts that I have set up. So at this point in time, you've done two really important things. You've made sure that your Zoom account exists, that it works, and that you can log in, and you've downloaded the desktop application and gotten logged in here on the desktop application. From this desktop application main page, you can see that you have some options of starting a meeting, or you can join a meeting. You also can connect your calendar, and we'll walk through briefly how to do that. If you were to connect your calendar, you'd actually see that our meeting that you've been invited to would appear here. So going back to that email invitation that you received, you can see there's a lot of important information included here, including not only the link, but if you scroll down, you'll find that each meeting that you create comes with a meeting ID and hopefully a password. The reason I say hopefully is because we want to password protect all of our meetings, and we want to go and attend meetings that have been password protected so we don't run into any issues. As you can see here for our invitation, it has been password protected. From here, you could actually manually type this meeting ID back into the desktop application by clicking on the join button. From there, entering the meeting ID, and below, entering your name. On the next screen, you'd be prompted to enter our password over here, and you'd be able to join. That will be one way that you can access our meeting. The other one would be to just simply click on the link that's included in the invitation, and it will prompt the opening of your Zoom desktop application, and you'll be able to join that way as well. Be sure to double check all of your hardware and software before a workshop begins, meaning that your camera's working, that you've double checked your sound, both your microphone and your ability to hear. If you can't set up in a really quiet environment, we strongly encourage folks to use headphones to make sure that they're able to hear us but not have any interference coming back down the microphone if they were need to speak. We're also going to encourage folks to keep their microphones on mute but their cameras turned on while they're attending so that we can create a nice set of visual digital norms for our workshop. We hope this tutorial helped, and we're really looking forward to seeing you soon.